So welcome to my channel. I am Divine Priestess and I go by a list of many names. I go by a lot of names, honestly. But this is my channel. Right now it's called Roots and Rituals. I can't guarantee that that's going to be the name a year from now due to me always changing course. So we're going to see. But at this moment, this is my channel, Roots and Rituals. Today we are talking about spirituality. Now this video is not about do's and don'ts of spirituality. A lot of times when we are on social media, people are always telling you, stop doing this, right? Stop eating fried food, stop smoking, stop drinking, stop dressing this way, and you need to start doing it. And it's honestly, everyone's different. Spirituality is different for everyone. Everyone practices differently, okay? Spirituality, in a nutshell, is you connecting to your higher self, your divine self, your spirit, connecting to your extension of God, okay? And that extension of you being in alignment with it is for your growth and development as a person, you being in alignment with your higher purpose, your destiny in life while you are here in this vessel, okay? When it comes down to spirituality, a lot of the times it is overcomplicated, but it's overcomplicated due to competition. It is overcomplicated due to competition between you and another person, because everyone wants to be the best. Everyone wants to be top dog. They want to be the most powerful. Okay, man, do you? Okay, if that is what you want to make it, then by all means, you make it like that. You go on that hamster wheel, okay? Because it's going to be a never-ending battle. Do you know how many people there are in this world? And you're not going to meet every person in this world. Okay. When developing spiritually, there are things, right? If you have an altar, there are just core things that you will have at your altar, which is going to be a candle, a glass of water, flowers, and incense, right? Because it's the 4 elements. Now, you can always replace those. You can't have incense, right? You live with people, okay? You can use a feather, the representation of the element of air, right? You got some essential oils, hell, put a goddamn diffuser there. Use that, right? It is the thing when it comes to spirituality. You must use what you can. And this was an argument when it came down to candles versus oil lamps. And yes, this was a real back and forth thing on Witch Talk. Using candles from Dollar Tree is impure. You have to make your own candles. Sweetheart, look here. It is cheaper in the present moment to go buy candles. Do you know how much wax is? Okay. Do you know how much wax is? Let me go buy my goddamn Dollar Tree candle. Okay. Let me do that. You know, it was that whole thing of, oh, well, our ancestors didn't use candles. They used oil lamps. Okay, cool. I have the ability to use candles now because candles are around. Let me use my goddamn candles, right? It is those things. You know, it was the whole thing of when people were putting water at their altars. Oh, I'm not going to leave tap water at my altar. I'm going to use only bottled water. Do what you will, Willis. If that's what you want to do. I'm not going to tell you that you're wrong, because at the end of the day, that's not my business. However, I am always here to guide and to assist you with being more confident in your practice. And I say that because a lot of people lose their confidence due to the constant chitter chatter in their ears about what they should be doing because another person is telling them that is wrong. Spirit is always guiding, whether you hear them or not, whether you see them or not. Spirit is always guiding you. And I've always told this to people, that Spirit is going to communicate to you in a way that you understand. But we tend to overcomplicate it because not everyone receives messages that same way from Spirit. Okay, so again, it comes into this pool of this person must know more than me because they are older. Just because a person is older does not mean they know more. Okay, just because a person is younger does not mean they know less. Okay. When it comes to spirituality, you have to have confidence in yourself as well as confidence and faith in your spirits. And when I mean spirits, your ancestors, right? Your spiritual core. And your spiritual core can consist of a lot of spirits, a lot of different spirits. You'll find that out in different ways. You'll have people say you'll find that out during misas. Again, it depends on the tradition that you practice. You have people that will say, you will find that out the more you sit in silence, whether at your altar or just in meditation or spending more time in nature, right? All these different things. Because everyone's spirits are different, okay? It's your spiritual cord. It ain't my goddamn spiritual cord. It's your spiritual cord. I may be able to hear what some of your spirits are saying. I can get that to you. But at the end of the day, those are your spirits. So you have to build that relationship with them. And it's always going to come down to you sitting with them. Silence. Being in meditation. I remember I posted on my threads a while ago because I had this, what did I call it? I had this series of conversation with Spirit, because my spirits communicate to me in many different ways, and they definitely, I definitely channel quite often and will go in trance depending on the time and place and not even realize it. But one thing that Spirit had told me was you can't receive the messages if you're always talking, right? And that when I think of that, it's and how it can be received. You got to stop talking to people, and it's like, no. A lot of times when we go to the altars, we immediately go into prayer because people say, oh, when you go to the altar, you need to pray, you need to do this. Sometimes just go to your altar, and if you don't have an altar, sometimes just get somewhere and sit. You ain't got to pray right now. You ain't got to sing. You ain't got to plead case and all that stuff. Just sit there and be quiet. Close your eyes and breathe, right? And you're going to get messages, right? Because if you're constantly talking, like, think of it, you having a conversation with a person. If you're constantly talking, how can you get a word in because you won't shut the F up? You know what I'm saying? So it's that thing too. Don't overcomplicate it. When it comes down to meditation, people will say they don't like to meditate because they don't know how, or when they meditate that they can't stop their thoughts. Two things with that. Number one, I used to always say that when you are in meditation and you have a thought constantly coming up, right, a memory or something constantly coming up, don't be so quick to push it out. Sit with it. Feel it. What from that experience can you pull from? What lesson can you learn from that? What wisdom can you gain from that? It is being revealed to you for a reason. Maybe it's something that you need to heal from and release, right? Another thing is that You have people that have been meditating for years and they say it took them a while to have complete silence where they have no thoughts, no nothing. Okay? It took time for that. You have to spend time in that and develop that. It's like a muscle. You have to develop it. Just like your spiritual gifts, it's like a muscle. You have to develop it. And the way you develop it is by showing up. Just like when you go to the gym and you want to get these gains, you have to show up. Okay, may not have to be the gym, but you got to show up to work out. You got to show up to train. It's the same thing when it comes to developing your gifts. A lot of times when people are embarking on the spiritual journey, and that journey is everlasting, I want to tell you that it is not I went on my journey and then I completed it. There is no certificate of completion. You're gonna constantly develop, or at least you should. And if you stop developing, that's because you chose to. Okay, but there's always expansion that can take place. But spirituality is a single thing. It is solo dolo. Let me go get my damn glasses. Hold on. But spirituality, it is solo. So when people are stepping into their spirituality, their spiritual practice, right? Connecting to their higher self and developing and doing all these things, they want to be amongst other people. But even if you are with these other people, their process is different than yours. I also want to advise you that just because a person is spiritual does not mean they're a good person. I heard so many times of people saying they've come around spiritual people and that they were just so petty and full of drama and negative and nasty and all these things. And why would they do this? I thought there's supposed to be a peace. And at the end of the day, they still are human. They are still human. And a human is going to do what a human is going to do. Okay? They don't see nothing wrong with what they do and how they conduct themselves, and you make the conscious decision of either sticking around that or moving on. But also on a spiritual level, you coming across certain people is a reason, there is a lesson to be learned. And maybe that lesson is to learn to not be like X, Y, and Z, right? The experience that you have with that person is to help you in some shape, form of fashion, right? It's all about what you do with it. The same reason of we'll sit here and be like, why did I have to experience this? That is a process for yourself. And sometimes it's not as big as we think it is. Sometimes it's you experienced X, Y, and Z because of your actions, and that's just a consequence of your actions, right? Free will. You use your free will, but free will does not mean you are free of consequences, right? And so that is why. Okay. When it comes down to spirituality, a lot of people want to denounce the church. I'm not a Christian, but I did grow up Southern Baptist. Okay. I also have been around Catholicism. I have initiated into a closed practice. Okay. But you do not have to denounce the church to be a spiritual person. Okay. If you love church, go to church. Do you know how many spiritual practitioners are in a church house? They are under the radar. It's a lot of spiritualists that are out here that are living under the radar, and you can't look at them by telling that they're a spiritual person, because again, your spiritual practice, okay, is something that is personal, it's sacred, it's yours. Okay. And so it does not make you less spiritual because you go to church. And I know a lot of people like to sit here and enforce that on to people. You gotta leave the Bible alone. Do you know how many practitioners, especially hoodoo practitioners, utilize the Bible? You know, in voodoo and lukumi, or, well, not lukumi, in voodoo or espiritismo, the Hail Mary is recited, right? Because in espiritismo, you are reciting the Our Father, the Apostles' Creed, the Hail Mary. When it comes to voodoo, the Hail Mary is recited, and it's funny because I used to know it in French, so I used to have to recite it in French. But you know, so you don't have to denounce your religion in order to become spiritual, because you can be both spiritual and religious. Two things can exist at once, right? Because your religious practice is you just need to know what you're doing it for. Okay, are you going to church because it was taught to you and you just continued it up and you feel bad leaving? Or do you do it because you feel a deeper connection to God, right? Or you work with the saints, right? All these different things. So just know why you are doing those things. You don't have to practice yoga to be more spiritual either. A lot of people, I'm going on my spiritual journey and I'm going to practice yoga. I'm going to go to a yoga class. Yoga is its own thing outside of just the stretches. And I know this because I am a certified yoga instructor. So I am a woman of many names, many certifications, many talents. Okay, I got a lot of things under my belt, and it comes out at the time that it needs to. So with that, oh my gosh, the seeds. Apologies. I finally got the trying to get the seeds to the marigolds so I can replant them. But yeah, when it comes down to yoga, you don't have to practice yoga if you don't want to. Do you have to go on an ayahuasca trip in order to become more spiritual? No, you don't have to. Do you have to do mushrooms in order to become more spiritual? No, you don't have to. It took me years to even try mushrooms. It took me years. I did not want to, despite everyone trying to force it on to me. Oh, you're going to have some type of spiritual. And it's like, I'm already tapped in. Okay. To do mushrooms, I'm going to be more tapped in than what I need to be. And I'm the one that's going to have to walk that. Can't nobody else walk it with me. Okay. You do what you feel you need to in order to reach a space that is in alignment with your purpose. I guess to say. You do what you need to do that you feel is true and authentic to you. And with that means toning out what other people is trying to force onto you. Because I do know a lot of spiritualists that will force onto you, do ayahuasca, do combo, do mushrooms, do LSD, do this, do that. And it's like, look now, you take your time. Do not rush, because a lot of people, when they are embarking on their spirituality, right, dipping their toe into the spiritual pond, they tend to rush because, again, it's the whole notion of once you do this, this, and this, and this, you're done. You don't have to do any of this anymore. You're oh so, and it's like, no, sweetheart, you're the spiritual journey is just like your journey here on earth, your physical journey here on earth. It is going to be constant, right? It is something that you will forever be doing, okay? And so you take as much time as you need. Do not rush it. Everything happens in its own timing, and that is a part of the spiritual journey. The spiritual journey will teach you patience if that is something that you need to learn, okay? Again, when looking at spirituality, people also confuse spirituality with magic. You don't have to practice magic as a spiritualist, right? As a spiritual person, you don't have to practice magic. You don't have to be a spellcaster to be spiritual. Those are separate. Just like you can be religious and spiritual, you can be spiritual and also magical, right? A spellcaster, a list of different things. And it can seem very confusing, which is why I mentioned going slow, so that way you can find a balance between the physical and the spiritual realm. Because if you focus so much on the spiritual aspect of things, you begin to disconnect with being human, okay? For those who are watching, if you are a parent, it is how I can put it that you may understand. It is like you losing your identity as a person because you became a parent. Therefore, you forgot who you are outside of, this family that you have created. So take your time, because there is a balance that you have to find. And then it gets even more crazy when you go into closed practices, right? Closed traditions, because now you have a new set of spirits that you begin to work with. There's rituals and ceremonies and things like that. And again, you can lose your you can lose yourself and become very overwhelmed with everything. So that is what I wanted to touch on. I don't want to take up much more of y'all time, because we're already running at 23 minutes. I don't want to take up much of your time. But if you feel as if there are things that I need to elaborate more on that I've said in this video, or you feel as if there are some things you want me to touch on that I not mentioned in this video, then by all means, please comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. I also want to advise, again, because this just hit me, especially with retrograde coming up, that when it comes down to spirituality, that a lot of people overemphasize things that is going on astrologically. There is a lot of fear-mongering that is in the spiritual community. And I'm about to sit here and tell you this: you ain't got to fear not a damn thing. Okay, you don't need to fear anything. Okay, the moon is always changing. It changes signs, it changes phases, right? And it goes in phases. Okay, the sun, the earth rotates. We got the planets that's rotating around that. So there's always movement happening astrologically. So there's no need for you to fear. When it comes down to astrology, it is, think of it as a forecast, like a weather forecast. The weatherman tells you it's going to rain on Tuesday. Are you going to hide in your house because it's raining, or are you just going to get a raincoat and an umbrella and be cautious when you're out on the road, right? It's the same thing when it comes to the planets, when it comes to the moon. It is a forecast, so that way you can better prepare yourself. Can you live life without knowing what's going on astrologically? 1000%. Yes you can. But if you want to use that as a tool, do not be afraid of it. Use it as a tool, not as something you need to go hide underneath your pillow and blanket, okay, and wait for it to pass. No, okay? Know how to move with it. Just like when you're in traffic, know how to move with it, okay? Now, again, I done already said bye. It is turning like at the family reunion, you done said bye for 30 minutes and still ain't left yet. So I'm about to go ahead and get off of here. And with that being said, you guys enjoy the rest of your day. And again, comment down below if you have not subscribed already. Subscribe to my channel, okay? And also share this video. Thank you.
If you like this video or want to see more, like and subscribe to my channel.